Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. Today we are gonna see another lab from HTTP request smuggling vulnerability module. And in today's lab, we are gonna bypass access controls via HTTP to request tunneling. So the lab description is saying this lab is vulnerable to request smuggling because the front-end server downgrades HTTP to request and fails to adequately sanitize incoming header names. So we already encountered this thing in the previous labs, okay, where we saw CRLF vulnerability. Fine. So to solve the lab, we will access the admin panel, add/admin as the administrator user, and delete the user Carlos. The front-end server does not reuse the connection to the backend, so is not vulnerable to classic request smuggling attack. However, it is still vulnerable to request tunneling. Okay, so we will tunnel the request to the backend. Okay, now there is a hint: the front-end server appends a series of client authentication headers to incoming request, and you need to find a way to leaking these request headers for the client authentication. Fine. So I already opened up the lab here. This is our lab. Burp is working fine. And if we come back to the proxy, HTTP history, this is what we have, the web root request. I'm going to send this request to the repeater and go to the repeater. Send the request one more time to see, make sure everything is working fine. And up to now, we did not get any response. Okay. One thing I think we should do, because the front-end server basically downgrade the HTTP version 2 to 1. So once the front-end server receives request, it receives it as version 2. So make sure, and as you can see, once we get the response, it already converted it to the version 2. So what I'm going to do here is go to the request attribute and make sure HTTP 2 is selected. Okay, this is the most important thing. And as you can see, everything is working fine here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to the request headers, and in the request header I'm gonna add here a fake header, because as we saw in the lab description that the front-end server basically downgrade HTTP version 2 requests and failed to adequately sanitize incoming header names, and this is where CRLF vulnerability exists. So I'm going to try that. So here I'm gonna say, I'm just going to inject one fake header. So fake header, and then shift with enter so that it will feed the return line feed. And I'm gonna inject a host header, and let's say I'm gonna see if I can access any out of band domain or not. Okay, so that's it. And the value I'm gonna put here AAA. You can put any value you want. So just add that and send the request. So once we send the request, you can see here server error, and it's saying gateway timeout 3 connecting to example.com. So it could be, first of all, this confirmed that the lab is vulnerable to CRLF injection via header names. Okay, and it's trying to go to the another domain that we put. Fine. So this is a strong indication for that. Okay, now what we will try, let's just go to the lab, and here I'm gonna try to search something, let's say cybersec, and just search it. So you can see whatever we search, it reflects here. So if I go to the proxy and just take this request where we try to search something, okay, you can see if I write here cybersec, in response we are getting, or the search term is reflected. I'm going to send this request to the repeater one more time and just send this request to see everything is working fine. Cybersec, yes, it is reflected. So I'm going to change the request method from get to post and just send the request one more time to see whether it's still working fine or not, even if we change the HTTP request method. And you can see even in HTTP post request method, it's working fine and reflecting the search term. Fine. So here again, we are going to try the same thing, because what we need is CRLF injection is there. We already confirmed that. Now, according to the lab, we need to basically leak the client authentication headers in the to incoming request. Fine. And for that purpose, I'm gonna use the same method or same vulnerability, which is CRLF injection, by injecting the header request header. So back to the inspector section, go to the request header and add one more header. So the same thing, fake header. Okay, what I'm gonna try is shift enter to add the turn line feed, and then I'm gonna put here content length, and the content length value, let's say I'm gonna put here 100 and 2 turn line feeds, and then I'm gonna put here the search parameter and the value of the search, let's say SSS, and here AAA, whatever you want. Fine, and just add it. And now I don't need this search term because that will override what we added in the header section. Okay, so just send the request and you can see 200. Okay, now what we search, let's just scroll down up to you find the search term AAA. Okay, so it takes SSS is AAA. Fine, so that means still the search term reflected, and with the search term you can see the cookie is leaked with 2 more headers, which is XSSL verified and XSSL client. Okay, and I think this is not completed up to now, so we need to increase the value of the content length, because here we put the content length 100. So I'm gonna increase it to 150, apply changes, send the request one more time, and just search here SSS or AAA, whatever you need. Okay, so now you can see, so this time it leaks complete client authentication headers, which is XSSL verified, XSSL client CN, and X front end key. So these are the most important part here, which you need to leak through the CRLF injection. Okay, now once we have this, I'm gonna copy that and paste it somewhere here. Okay, because we need it, and then we will move to access the admin panel, because we need to access the admin panel, because we want to bypass, this is our final goal, to bypass the access control. And by passing the access control, I'm gonna access the administrator, okay, and delete the Carlos account or Carlos user. So for that purpose, let's see if I try to just go to our lab and let's try to access /admin. Okay, so admin interface only available if logged in as an administrator. So that's it, we cannot access like that and we need to bypass it. So the first thing is, let's see, I'm just going to change this first of all, then we will come to the main point. Okay, so fake header, shift enter, 2 turn line feeds. Then I'm gonna basically smuggle the request by adding one more new request by because we want to try to access the admin panel, http/1.1, because this request go to the backend server and backend server receives downgraded version of HTTP. Okay, then again shift enter to add the turn line feed, because this header ended here. Now we add the same header we got, client authentication header from the leaked response, and then here after we finish the X front end key, we will add here 2 turn line feeds, so 2 times shift plus enter key. Okay, so apply changes and let's just send the request, and you can see 200. Okay, AAA does not found this time, and this response belong to what? Okay, these are the icons we have in our home page, and this is basically the home page. Okay, this is the home page. So I go back again to the request headers, and the first thing I would like is to change the post method to HTTP request method head, apply, and send the request again. And this time we should see the error, server error, and this server error is saying receiving only 3180 of expected 8737 bytes of data. That means this error basically indicating that we are not receiving enough bytes. Okay, and this is because the content length of the requested resource is longer than the tunneled response we are trying to read. And for that purpose we need to find out an endpoint that basically generate the response with what it expected. Okay, so for that purpose we have many endpoints here. Like we can try to add this endpoint, we can try to add this endpoint, slash, we are already on this one. Okay, so we have here, let's say if I come back here and go to the my account page, okay, back here to the burp proxy, we can also try this slash login. Let's see, back to the request headers and go to the path, and here instead of web root I'm gonna try login here, apply changes, and send the request one more time. So once we send the request, it's still saying that received only 3180. Okay, send one more time. Okay, back here. Okay, the method is head instead of post, path is login. Fine, I think the problem is here because I did not convert that. So XSSL verified, I would say yes, we are already verified, and also the client CN common name. So the common name could be administrator. Okay, could be administrator, and this is the front end key that is generated. So that would be enough. So apply changes and send the request one more time. Now this time you can see we received the response, but I would like to go back to few requests because I did not change it in the previous request. So I'm gonna add here one and administrator, apply changes, and if we go back you can see this is post is head and path is login, but make sure you change these parameters to from 0 to 1, and the CN is administrator. Okay, if we send the request now, okay, so method is head and the path slash login. I want to go back one more step where we have this one, and in this part we basically did not change here, these values. So make sure you change these values. Okay, apply changes, now send the request. Okay, communication timeout. Okay, so 3712 of expected this one. Okay, and at this point we need to change the path. At this point I'm going back and go to the path, change it to slash login, apply, send the request one more time. Now you can see the method is head, path is slash login, and this is the injected fake header where we basically change the client authentication header values and keep the key X front end key same as we got. Okay, so if we now scroll down, you can see here we have the link to delete the users. So I'm gonna say show response in the browser, copy that back to here, paste that, and you can see winner. We can delete it, and we can delete also the Carlos user, and you can see this is the header what we got from the smuggled request. Okay, fine. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just take this to delete the Carlos. I'm gonna take the complete path, copy that, and here I'm gonna paste it, fine, and just apply it, send the request. Okay, it's saying communication timeout, but if we go back to the lab, you can see congratulations, you solved the lab and the Carlos user has been deleted. Now to prove it, if the Carlos user is being deleted or not, we can go back one step and here again send the request. So if we send the request and scroll down to the last, you can see now we have only winner user and the Carlos user deleted successfully. Fine. So that's it for this video. I hope you like the content. If you like the content, please like, subscribe and share. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.